Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. My name is Millicent Chimoy, and I am the Ordinary Voices Program Coordinator. And today we are discussing a crucial topic, and our speakers are already here. And I will just take this time to let you know how we are going to run the today's session. We will start with the We will talk more about GYF and ordinary voices. Then we will do the introduction of the topic and the guest engagement. There will be an open engagement between the participants and then the closing remarks. Okay, today I'm joined with Rose. Rose is my assistant, and Rose will be taking us through today's session. Join. Okay, sorry, Rose, you can go on.
Okay, thank you so much, Millicent, uh, and thank you for our guest and the other members who have joined today's session. And my name is Rose Sevencia. I'm the Assistant Programs Coordinator, Ordinary Voices, and today I'll be the moderator. And first thing first, I will really like everyone to introduce themselves in the comment section, because I cannot go to each and every person one by one except for the guest to write in the comment section your name, maybe the organization, and where you are joining us from. So I would really like to dive into today's session. The topic, collaboration for nature, clean water, and energy for sustainable communities. And these are very crucial topic, especially for to our organization Global Youth Forum. For those who don't know us, the organization is a youth organization that equips youth with the skills to secure jobs and also businesses to improve their life. So, without wasting time, I would really like us to go directly into our today's topic, and I'll start with our guests for them to introduce themselves and just give us a glimpse of what they understand by today's topic. And I'll start with Chandler. In one sentence, just introduce yourself by sharing your name, what you do, the SDG that you are passionate about, and the change you want to see in the world. Like basically, which skill do the youth need in the new era of world? So, Chandler, you are welcome to introduce yourself and just give a background of what you understand about today's topic and the SDG you are passionate about. Welcome.
Okay, so thank you so much for the opportunity. I don't know if I'm being heard clearly, but just proceed on. So I'm Chandler Linda. I'm an aesthetic consultant who specializes particularly in interior design and deco. My passion is clean water and sanitation, basically because I believe if everyone gets access to clean water and sanitation, then we will not have so many cases of outbreak of diseases, commonly like cholera among others. One skill that I believe the youth need in this era is it's called computer literacy. Basically, because technological times are changing, and if you look at the world now, jobs opportunities out there require one to be familiar with the computer and the IT skills. So,
Thank you, Chandler. And our next speaker, Ilma, you are welcome to introduce yourself.
Well, hi everyone. My name is Najma, and I'm a climate and health advocate. And my favorite SDG is SDG 13 for climate action. And with today's topic, I personally believe that collaboration brings about unity. And I think when we come together as multi-stakeholders with different specialities, with different knowledge from indigenous knowledge and so on, we tend to bring in the aspect of innovative ideas and entrepreneurial action when it comes to climate action. So I believe that looking at the aspect of inclusivity in all angles and the aspect of either intergenerational angle, we can sort of gain so much impact to the community and bring so much change when it comes to climate action.
Okay, maybe something that you have forgotten, Ilma, is to add on a skill that the youth need to have in the new.
Well, I'd say that innovation is key when it comes to achieving the SDGs. So innovation comes in handy.
Thank you so much, Ilma. There we go to our last speaker, Francis. You can introduce yourself, your SDG, and yes, welcome.
Thank you so much, Rose. Humbled to be in this platform today, and it's a thank you to Global Youth Forum for organizing this. My name is Francis Odipo, as Rose has said. I am a finalist student of real estate at Mount Kenya University here in Kenya. I'm also passionate about the environmental conservation. I'm actually the outgoing chairperson of the environmental club because I'm in my final year. One thing that I would love, a skill that I would love my fellow youths to have is the skill of adaptability, that they can adapt to all the changes that are happening, because change is happening and change is inevitable. And a change I would also want to see is that everyone takes responsibility of the planet and not expecting only a group of people or a cohort of conservationists to take part in the environmental conservation. Yeah.
Thank you so much to our speakers for introducing yourself, and to also our other guests who have joined. Continue introducing yourself in the comment section. And as you have seen, our speakers are well versed with the topics, and I'll dive into today's discussion. And first things first, I'll start with the and I'll ask, what does collaboration for nature mean to you, and how should it look in the 21st century? Ilma, you can go on.
Just like I said earlier during the introduction aspect, collaboration to me brings in the aspect of unity. And this comes in handy when you're looking at the aspect of bringing the aspect of indigenous knowledge and also bringing the aspect of innovation. So with that being in handy, we also have to look at the aspect of inclusivity, leaving no youths behind, leaving no women behind, or anybody who may feel like they do play a crucial role when it comes to achieving the SDGs, especially climate action. And again, one thing that we tend not to look into most of the time is the intergenerational aspect. So for me, collaboration brings in the aspect of inclusivity and innovation at all aspects.
Thank you, Ilma. She has touched on a very important topic on the need of bringing unity, of including everyone, the youth, and also people who have been in the market before, so that they can be innovative in everything they do. So I'll go to Chandler, just to elaborate to add on what Ilma has said. What can you add of collaboration?
Okay, so for me, collaboration is bringing together communities, businesses, NGOs, indigenous people, scientists, to create solutions that restore not only the ecosystem, but also protect the biodiversity. If they're doing this, they should be guided by both traditional knowledge and technology-enabled systems that can enable them to not only to build resilient landscape, but also create frameworks that sustain people and the planet at large. That's my view on collaboration.
Thank you so much, Chandler. And we go to Francis. What's your understanding on nature?
So according to me, collaboration for nature means people, organizations, and even nations working together across boundaries, disciplines, and they forget their differences. If they have, let's say, political differences, financial differences, they use different systems. For example, we know Tanzania, they use uh, Ujamaa system, and Kenya we use capitalism. So we forget about that, but we collaborate towards achieving a common goal. So that is what collaboration for nature means for me. And in the 21st century, I would say that we need inclusive partnerships where indigenous communities, scientists, all those businesses, farmers, they all work together. They come at a common table where each and everyone is equally respected. Your opinion is very key. And we also have tech-powered solutions whereby, because the youths are very innovative and creative, they have the ideas which are innovative. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much. And something that I've noted with all mention on the need of bring ideas from different aspects and also include the need of including IT when coming up with solutions. Thank you so much. And that moves us to our next topic on and I'll start with Francis. Just to for you to give us, if you had the chance to redesign how young and older generation work together on clean water and energy access, what will that collaboration look like? Welcome, Francis.
Thank you so much. So if I was to design a model whereby the young and the old generation are working together, I would first of all make sure that there is no conflict between the young and the old, the conflict of interest, because the young may feel that the old are taking control over them, and the old may also feel that the young are coming to maybe take their roles, or they are just coming up in a very fast way. So we will have co-leadership models whereby if there are leadership positions, we have both the young and the old. If it's a project, then we have all of them represented. Also, we have skills swap, because we know that the young have skills that they can really come up with. They are innovative, so they come up with skills. And the old also are very key, because they have a lot of experience, so they can share the skills through storytelling, where they tell of their experience, what happened in the past, and then the current generation will tell how the current world can be, they can like work together to make sure that the challenges are solved. Yeah, so that is what I can say.
Wow, that's a good one. That shows how in the market we can't just say these are young generation affair. These are all generation affair. They need to work together because experience. And the young also bring their innovation and ideas. Okay. We can go to Ilma. You can give us your perspective on the how the young and the old can work together.
Well, this is something that I've kind of noticed working in the two spaces. There's this aspect of the elderly being rigid with the ideas and not accepting change and everything. And also us as youths, we have these, how can I call it? We're all vibrant and vocal and all over the place. We want to explore ideas. But again, looking at the older generation, they're not into that. They're these chilled individuals, but they're having these brilliant ideas, same as youths, yes. But again, the aspect of coming in to understand and also the aspect of accommodating each other is one thing that really needs to play handy when it comes to the intergenerational aspect. We have to understand the weaknesses and the strengths of the youths, and also understanding the weaknesses and the strengths of the elderly, so that if you bring these people together, we know how to address issues, we know how to accommodate them. And then if you're having the aspect of these open forums where we are having now these individuals talking to the youths, and then the youths also exploring ideas that they do have to this elderly, I think that will be something that we can actually try and embrace, because adaptability is very key and change is very key, of which is inevitable. But again, we have people who are resilient or they're resistant to change. So if you're looking for ways on which we can actually bring an understanding and also good elaboration to both the generations, will be key for them to understand and literally see how best they can move together and not against each other.
Thank you so much, Ilma. That was a good perspective of there's need for working together and not against each other. So, Chandler, you can chime into that. Give us your perspective on that before Gareth says something. Welcome, Chandler.
Okay, so for me, I believe designing how youth and older generations work. I think, on my view, I will establish a structured intergenerational platform, because you see, basically, these older generations, they have a certain context of wisdom. So, in that intergenerational platform where I will establish, will enable the older generation to share their experience and institutions with their generations.
Chandler, maybe you can
Also,
increase your voice. We can't hear.
sorry, but I'm saying I will establish a structured intergenerational platform where older generations can share their experience with the younger generation, because basically the older generations in a way are more experienced than the younger generations. So as they come together to share their ideas and insights on the same, the younger generation, on the other hand, because they are more familiar with innovation and digital skills, they can also contribute their innovation and digital skills and fresh perspectives, enabling this collaboration to be fostered through joint community projects. And also, we can also establish mentorship networks and platforms, digital knowledge hubs that can empower creation of sustainable water and energy solutions, and also promote clean energy access. That's my take on that.
Thank you so much, Chandler, for that. And to our guests who have joined, in case you have any question, anything you want to add, you can always raise your hand and chime in. So, Gareth, you had a question. You are welcome to say your question. Yeah, welcome,
Lovely.
Gareth.
Thank you, Rose. Guests, it's privilege as always to join this session once a month. As a member of that older generation, I am 66 years old. Then for me, if I may comment on behalf of that, and a lot of older people really are stick in the muds and are a pain in the butt of young people and the energy that young people bring. I'd like to comment on collaboration first of all, and just say collaboration between any groups is absolutely key. We are all on this very small rock. We call it Earth, planet Earth. We're all on this small rock hurtling through space together. It's not big, and we've got to learn to share far better than we do and collaborate around everything far better than we do. The collaboration around clean water. When Peter was in the UK, the back end of last year, September, August and September, he and I spent some time where I live, and I showed him how the Somerset levels, as they're called, the moors, are actually drained and the water's taken off them because they are actually below sea level. a bit like in Holland. So there's a large chunk of the UK where it's below sea level. I live actually 5 feet above mean sea level. So some of the time we're below sea level, and most of the time we're above sea level. So, we're kind of just on that cusp. That is quite low tech. It is not high tech stuff. There's high tech now in it, monitoring it, but it's been like it since the 1500s. So low tech is still very valuable. Don't ignore low tech. It needs only a little bit of user intervention now and then, but it's exciting stuff where it allows people to live, work, and exist, grow crops where normally you'd be unable to do so. So low tech, never ignore low tech. High tech, very valuable and assists in that space. So collaboration in that space. What would I do with lots of the older people? Wake them up. Either get out and move on. Move on from where you are if you're going to be a stick in the mud. One of the questions or responses I dislike most is, well, we've always done it like that, so we should carry on doing it. No, we shouldn't. If there's a very good reason and we question and we understand, oh yeah, that actually is the best way, then fine. But just because someone asks the question and that's the response, no, we need to look at it. We need to see that that's the right way and then move forward together, understanding why we're moving forward. Now, I guess I'm a fairly young thinking old person because to me, the input of young people is absolutely key to us moving forward. There was nothing better for me when I was full-time working than actually handing over to young people, those new people with energy, with new ideas, new thinking coming in. And I worked in the high-tech sector. I worked for Hewlett-Packard, for HP, as a technology company. And we were the largest tech company at the time. So, I know what that front end is like. But there are times when you start to slow down. Let the young people have that. Yes, share your experience, share your expertise. That's really what we should be doing. Young people, question the old people in a collaborative way that involves them. And therefore, everyone starts to work together. And together, believe me, together we can shift and make huge changes to this planet, the environment, for a much better place. We have to. If we look at the way the world population is growing, the only way we can survive is by sharing our resources. Otherwise, we will not survive. And this little rock hurtling through space will become a disaster. It's not there yet. So let's change it. Thank you, Rose.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Gareth, for that perspective. And that has really rung in my mind. And I was like, yo, we needed to bring someone from the older generation we are talking about, because most of us are youth here. And he has really brought a good perspective in terms of the need of all of us moving, not just being rigid. We are old. This is how we used to do. We are new. Because they all need to pass down the wisdom, the experience they have to the young. Yeah, that's a very good perspective. And that brings us to another point of view in terms of this, because we see that most of the time, every if there is a pull between the old, the new generation, there is always a gap that is stalled in between. And maybe to Ilma, I'll just ask, in Kenya, corruption has stalled many development projects, especially in clean water, energy, and then environmental protection. Um, Imagine you are part of a national task force. What strategies will you propose to promote transparency and accountability in community-based sustainability projects? Yeah, you can give your perspective in that, Ilma.
Well, I can start by saying first, corruption comes in with greedy, and it's a choice because looking at the aspect, if I've assigned you something or if I've delegated something to you, you have to have the passion and the zeal to deliver. So looking at the aspect of corruption, it comes in handy because people are greedy of getting resources, getting all kind of crazy things that are actually the earthly materialistic aspect. So I kind of feel like when it comes to bringing in the aspect of now the transparency and accountability, I'll ensure that we are making people get answerable to whatever role or any obligations are actually delegated to, looking at the aspect of digitalizing aspect. So if you're coming up with digital tools, how best can we make sure that every data, everything that is actually being done on the ground is being documented? Because I'd say this coming from a nursing school, if anything is not documented, it's not done. So if we're coming up with tools to just try and monitor everything that is being done on the ground and follow it up to the latter, ensuring that nothing is left behind or nothing has been manipulated, I think would be the right way to go. And also looking at the aspect of this corruption, how did you know that corruption came along in Kenya? Because we have people who are whistleblowers. So if you look at these people, they're trying to protect the country, yes, but again, their lives are at stake. So if I were in a position where I can actually look at the aspect, whistleblowers are actually good people in the community, but again, they need to be protected. So how best can we do this? Looking at the aspect of civic education and also looking at the aspect of these whistleblowers. If somebody is coming to articulate something or whisper something to my ear about some malpractice somewhere, how best can I work on this? I'll make this person anonymous and do not expose any individual at any particular point. Because I feel like if somebody is in a space where they've actually witnessed something wrong and they come tell you, it's for the betterment of the community. So if we do not protect these people, we'll be going back to corruption being something that is now being normalized. So looking at the digital aspect and also protecting the whistleblowers and civic education is something that I'll actually recommend.
That's a very good perspective, and I would really wish someone from the government could be here and hear that part that the whistleblowers need to be protected. Yeah. And I'll go to Francis. You can give a perspective on that.
Thank you. So my own perspective also goes hand in hand with what Ilma said. We must have accountability and transparency on all the government platforms. For example, we have mandatory public disclosure platforms whereby if there is any project that has taken place, there has been a set portal or let's say where how it is recorded documentation, as Ilma has put it, that if it's not documented, then it's not done. So that is a very nice way of saying it. Then we have open contracting and tender audits. Audits of the contract and tendering. If contract is given to a certain person, there must be audits to even before they take the contract. They must be having the ability, if it's financial ability, or they must be able to. They must be competent enough to take the contract. Then, if there must be a digital tracking system whereby all the government officers are being tracked on if they're working on government projects. And also we can give incentives for whistleblowers, because there are whistleblowers who are very key in ensuring that those corrupt leaders are identified. So such whistleblowers should be given incentives like protection, or if there is any support they can get. So yeah, that's my perspective.
You have mentioned incentive, and that just gave me goosebumps, and I'm like, yo, if they say everyone will be hands up to make that Ilma, did you want to say something?
It's just an addition to the whole corruption thing. This is something that I've actually also noticed. If you look at Kenya right now, looking at the different positions everybody's holding, any leadership position people are holding here, I can say there's a huge percentage of individuals who literally do not understand what's happening. Because I can just wake up and say, you know, Ilma is going to be the minister for livestock, Ilma is going to be the CS of whatever things. But again, we're not looking at the background or the knowledge or understanding of these individuals when it comes to that particular docket. Because if I say I'm assigning Ilma to become the Minister of Health, she should be having the knowledge of what health really entails. When it comes to the policymakers, she really needs to understand this is how the policy with health, with any intersection, is it climate, is it any disaster management, he or she needs to understand how these things are done. When it comes to budgeting, if I say I'm only allocating maybe 1 million to health, and then I allocate maybe 50 million to something that is not of a priority to the community, I'm basically killing that community. So I'd say when it comes to corruption, we have to bring the aspect of no nepotism, no favorism, or rather, let me say, looking at the aspect of ensuring everything is right, doing everything for the right of the people and not for the right of that individual or any interest of that particular individual. Yeah.
Going to security that really touches on the giving us leaders, because it cascades down to what the leader will do to that ministry and what they can achieve. Chandler, welcome to give your perspective.
Okay. As for me, I think I'll just concur with what my two colleagues have said. One is, in my view, I propose to implement transparent digital monitoring system. This will enable tracking of public project funding and progress. And also, in what Ilma just said on corruptions, I think as a country, we don't have those very deep and entrenched, strong anti-corruption laws with independent audits. The reason I'm saying this is because sometimes you see people who are convicted with corruption, they end up paying a fine and then walk away scot-free. So you see, that creates, I can say, a type of behavior whereby an individual just knows, I'll embezzle property, I'll do this, I'll pay a fine, and then I'll walk away scot-free and then go back to do the same thing. But if we enforce strict anti-corruption laws with independent audits, whereby individuals who are convicted of corruption are judged according to these laws and they face the full wrath of the law, I think this will kind of stop the habit of corrupt leaders and the others. Another thing also I will propose, maybe we launch civic education and campaigns that empower citizens to demand accountability. You see, at the ground, people out here, they just know of a project when they see us, maybe a tender board or a notice board informing them about a certain project. But what if, as a government, we will take that initiative to educate the civilians on basic civic education and tell them this is your project. If it has not gone according to expectations, it's your duty to keep the government in check and to demand accountability, because it is the taxpayers' money that also contributes to such kind of projects. Yeah, that's what I think I will suggest.
Okay, thank you. Gareth, you can give.
Yeah, thank you, Rose.
Yeah,
I think for me, as well as all the platitudes have been, and that work all three of you have spoken about, I believe is absolutely correct. However, this starts here with me. In my view, I can make a difference by, in all my actions, being open, honest, and straightforward, and not involving myself or accepting that form of corruption. Peter and I, and the board, when we were looking at putting together a new perspective and a new face of Global Youth Forum and the new brand, we spent an awful lot of time looking at our values and how we could best implement those values and how they could be represented through the brand, so that everyone understood that we will not be party to that game. You know, that is a big step, but it starts with every one of us. We will make a difference. And that means together we start making a huge difference. Not accepting bribes, not being prepared to give them. If we want to work with the government on certain projects, on the UN with certain projects, and we are engaged with them on a number of projects, then we will not be party to any of that kind of behaviors. If you try that, then we will just not use you. We will move away from the whole of that environment. Is that an easy thing to do? No, it's not. However, we will stick to those guns. As individuals, we will stick to that position. Now, that's not an easy path to take. But the more people that do it, then governments will start to fall that are corrupt. Organizations, be they companies or otherwise, will start to fail that play that corruption game. The more people that stand up and say, no, we're not partying this, then the more pressure is put on people to stop. And there are those people who are just playing at the edges. I know very well there were countries when I was traveling a lot with HP that I would go into, and it was very easy to put a relevant note in your passport and just stand in the queue with it out. And someone would come, take your passport, look at it, hand it back to you without the note, and take you forward in the queue as you're waiting for immigration to the country. That was corruption at a very low level. I did not play that game. It did mean at times I would spend 2 or 3 hours in an immigration queue, but I did not play the game. I was not party to, I could not be party to it. Yes, there was a consequence for me. I waited. However, I had a clear mind that I had not engaged in corruption. Simple things altogether. If we all did it, if everyone in that queue had not done that, that queue would have moved very quickly for everyone. So we can all start making a difference very, very easily. So never underestimate the value of the difference that you will make by not playing that corruption game. And very quickly, things will change. They really will, I believe so. So I hope that's valuable. I just pass on some minor little stories, but just by making that one change and together as a group, that's a lot of people, an awful lot of people then that are making that change, and that pressure will soon build. Corruption will move away.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gareth.
If anyone ever wants to come back to me or push back on me, please do so. Don't just accept what I'm saying. Just please push back.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe I add something on what Gareth has said. I think on corruption, it begins with us, the way we are on this platform. We just we inculcate an initiative new that maybe we won't partake corruption. I can say it has worked. I've been to places where I've seen it has worked. A good example is Rwanda. I've been to Rwanda. They don't partake in corruption. And the most funny thing is that as a government, they also embraced an initiative where leaders, not only leaders, but also the citizens, there is a specific day that says keeping the country honest. And they go, they participate, they learn anything about corruption, but the main theme of the conference is keeping the country honest. Yeah. They don't partake. Just as what Gareth has said, it begins with us. We instill these values in us and to the people around us, and then together we can move forward.
Thank you so much. And from what Chandler and Gareth have mentioned, it starts with us. Don't feel like you are the one person you cannot make a change. It starts with us, and everyone can make a change. And from this topic, this is a very interesting topic of corruption that has really carried us. And I will really like the speakers to give us their view. Like imagine, I'll start with Chandler. Imagine you're the president. Uh, sorry, you're the president of your country. What one top policy will you introduce to ensure everyone collaborates to protect nature, expand clean water access, and promote sustainable energy for all? And before you answer that, I would really like you to also answer on the a question that someone has asked online of do you think the youth are corrupt? And all the speakers, you can, as you answer this, you can be giving your view on, are the youth corrupt really? Yeah, welcome.
Okay, let me begin with answering that question. In my view, I think this is my view. I think partly some of the youths are corrupt, partly some are not. The reason I'm saying this is because you find I've interacted with most youths in my line of duty, and you find some of them maybe they want you to do something for them. For me, I don't partake bribes or anything of favors. But you tell him I cannot do this because it goes contrary to my values and principles. Then you hear the individual saying, maybe we
Raise your
can.
voice a little, Chandler.
Oh, I'm
Your voice.
saying partly the youth, some of the youths are corrupt, some are not. And the reason I'm saying this because in my line of duty, I've interacted majorly with youths. And you find sometimes you've gone to work for a client, he wants you to do something for him. You know very well this goes against your values and principles. But he tells you, I can give you this in return, or I can double your income. You see, in other instances, it is tempting. For me, I cannot do it. But the person now, let's say I have another colleague of mine who does the same thing like this. He has been promised a lucrative reward for doing that. Do you think he'll turn down the offer or he'll go and do it? Because I think they say you better, I don't know how to phrase it, but they say you better accept what can save you now and face the repercussions later. That's the reason I'm saying partly some of the youths are corrupt, some are not. And also for those that I'm saying they are corrupt, they are not corrupt willingly. Maybe they've seen, for example, take for instance this country, they've seen what the leaders do. They go to office, embezzle funds. So you see, you find a youth who has that ambition to become a leader in the society, but not with any other motive. He's saying, I'll go to that office, embezzle funds, reward myself, build my home and such. The reason he's going to the office is not because he's dedicated to it, but because he saw someone doing it and he's now going in to also do the same. What we can do as youths to prevent corruption, one, let us not emulate bad examples. If you see a leader who is corrupt, don't try to be like him. Try to do the otherwise. Because one thing I know, if you do bad things, karma catches up with you pretty soon. But also don't do bad things because no one is seeing, but rather always have that zeal in you to do good. Because I believe if you do good, there are awesome rewards awaiting you. Then maybe on Ross, if you could clarify the other question before I proceed.
Okay, the other question was if you are, imagine you are the president of your country, what one top policy will you introduce to ensure everyone collaborates to protect nature, expand clean water access, and also promote sustainable energy for all?
In my view, one thing I'm a civic education enthusiast, and I believe in educating even the lowest of the society, because there are some people who have not been able to acquire formal education, but through educating them on basic things like the environment and such, they will be able to understand the need of protecting the environment. I'll give an example of our nation. Some time back, there are people who are being evicted from the ecosystem known as the Mau. And the government was basically evicting them without telling them any appropriate reason why they are being evicted. But if I am the president now, I will take that initiative. You tell these people, we are evacuating you from this ecosystem because of this and this. I believe if the society are enlightened and educated, they won't hesitate in also protecting the environment and nature in general. Yeah, that's my take.
Thank you so much. And Francis, you can give your perspective on that and also answer on, are the youth corrupt? Answer on that. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you so much. What I can say about the youth, because corruption is a very complex issue and it may affect all the age groups. It starts from a child telling you that if I give you, let's say, if you want the child to go for something, and if the child tells you, if I go for that, what will you give me? So like it starts at that level, then it escalates to larger, and even comes to when the child is now in power and they are now doing very big things. So and of course there are youths who are actively involved in efforts to fight corruption. They advocate for transparency, accountability, and so that is the cohort of youth that we encourage. Each and every youth should be an advocate of transparency, because the future, a future that is with the accountability and transparency is the future that everyone wants. And then to curb corruption, as a president, I would say that we should work on the policies that are already in place. If we want penalties for those who are found in corrupt practices, those in government, if they have been found to be corrupt in one way or the other, funding mechanisms in tenders, then the penalties should be stricter. In Kenya, we already have the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, so it should be like very strict in its laws, not condoning any corruption practice. So that is what I would do.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Ilma, you can dive into that and give your perspective on that.
Thank you, Rose. Just to answer the question of corruption, I think Francis had well put it around, it's a cross-cutting issue. And one thing that I tend to understand with corruption, it's not all about, give me money or it's an exchange thing. Corruption is basically not doing the right thing. It doesn't have to involve money. It doesn't have to involve any materialistic thing. Looking at corruption in an aspect of us cutting trees, us not following policies, that's being corrupt. So if I say that, youths are corrupted, yeah, that's true. But again, it depends on the situation, because if I look at, the corruption that we're talking about here, it's basically now the aspect of the root cause being unemployment or greediness or something of the sort. But again, I'll tend to go now to an extra angle of saying that everybody is corrupt in a way, because most of us are not environmental cautious. Looking at things to do with littering, this is just a simple thing. Looking at things with not wasting, not turning the tap off when you're not using it. I mean, corruption is just not doing the right thing. So at any angle when you're not doing the right thing, that is bringing an issue with ecosystem, you are corrupted. So it's upon us to be cautious with everything we are doing. I know the aspect of being aware and just understanding what climate change brings about, what actually it involves, is the aspect of people not understanding what really comes in handy. And I think I don't know if it's Odipo or Chandler who mentioned about the aspect. So it's actually Chandler who mentioned about the aspect of civic education, and this is something that really plays a crucial role. So if you do not know about civic education around nature, ecosystem, and ETCs, you'll definitely be doing things out of not knowing. But again, if you are aware that I'm not supposed to be littering, I'm not supposed to be wasting water, I'm not supposed to be doing 1, 2, 3, that's being corrupted. And one thing that I'll actually try, and if I were in a position to actually implement it in aspect of policies, I'm so much into reforestation because I believe without forests is where all this gap comes in. So if there's any way I can actually make people be liable of anything that they're doing that tends to emit carbon, they have to plant a tree. That's something that I can actually do that, because I know of a company, they do sell cars. It's called Croton Motors. They do sell cars and give these individuals 100 tree seedlings, sorry. So if you're buying a car from me, I give you tree seedlings to go plant it. You're basically trying to reduce the carbons being emitted. So if we bring the aspect of making people be liable of emitting these gases, I think that will be something that will be doable to the future. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ilma, for that. And Justin, your hand is up. I invite you to say something because we are past time, and for also our speakers to give their call to action. Welcome, Justin.
Thank you so much, Rose. Colleagues, apologies, I'm not in a place to put on my camera and it's not really working well. But on this issue of corruption, I really agree with what Najma and Odibo have said. Yeah, it cuts across from all age groups, from the young to the elderly. But I somehow disagree with Odibo on the issue of our institutions. Yes, we have ESCC, we have DCI in Kenya perspective. But are these institutions really working? Yes, we can put on strict measures in place. But what are those people who are in these institutions? I believe these institutions in Kenya are more of political than independent. This institution, the Kenyan constitution clearly defines they must be independent, but in reality, they are not independent. So the people in place are political. So they do as they want. So those people who are corrupt, I believe, they do according to what they say. So we need to implement the laws which are in place and have the right people in this institution. And I believe that's the point when we will call corruption is offer, I can say, not really offer, but it can a bit reduce. Because you can't end corruption in 1 day, in 2 days, in 1 year. No, it's an issue which takes time, but the moment you have the right people in these institutions, and us as individuals, we stop giving in bribes to get something, yeah, that's when we should end corruption. Thank you.
Rose, very quickly, if I may, on young people and are young people corrupt? Young people are part of society, and therefore society, if there's corruption in society, a percentage will be. But are young people inherently corrupt? No. By far, the reason we're having this conversation, and don't ever underestimate the power of this conversation, this will start to force some change in some people. It'll get people questioning. That makes a change for the positive, for the better. So, by just bringing these topics out, by talking and discussing, that starts to make the change. So I thank all of you for doing so. The other thing I'd like to just pick up on what was around the change and the view and the rate of change. I think the more open we are, the more we discuss, the more we challenge as young people and as old people and more mature people, the safer we will make this rock of ours that is hurtling through space. It has to be safe for all of us. It has to be there well into the future, not just for my grandchildren, but their grandchildren and their grandchildren. And the same for yours, your children, your grandchildren, and so on. That will make a phenomenal difference if we work together. I hope Global Youth Forum will be around for a long time. But I would be very pleased when we have to change our agenda because that has been achieved. It'll be after my time, but I do hope we see that day. Thank you, Rose.
Thank you so much for Gareth for that, for adding on that. And because of time, I'll just give our speakers 1-2 minutes to give their parting shot and their recommendation on our topic today. So I'll start with Ilma. Welcome, Ilma.
Thank you so much. It's been quite interactive session, and one thing that I can actually say from my end, I started by saying collaboration is unity. So if you have any idea, as long as we are united, we can make it work. So no one is small not to impact any ripple effect to the community. So let us build bridges and not break bridges. Let us not bring the silos, but let us work together to ensure that climate change does not affect the community nor the ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ilma, for that. Francis, welcome.
Thank you so much, Rose. So my parting shot would be that collaboration is the heartbeat of change. It is very hard to do such things as environmental conservation alone. You have to be in a team, and there is an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So it's a matter of everyone having a responsibility in what they are supposed to do. If you are supposed to do something, do it right. If you eat your banana, you just don't throw the pills anyhowly. So it's your responsibility. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Francis. That was a good one. And welcome, Chandler. Welcome to say your parting shot.
I'll agree with what my colleagues Francis and Ilma have both said. I still emphasize on collaboration, and not only collaboration alone, but collaboration, civic empowerment, and civic education to safeguard our environment and the ecosystem at large. And also accountability. Let us learn to be accountable for our actions, just like the way Francis has put it. If you eat a sweet or a banana, you don't have to throw the peeling there. Sometimes just walk with it and find where there is a bin, dump it inside for the sake of safeguarding and protecting the environment.
Thank you. Thank you so much to our speaker. This has been an engaging session. I've learned a lot of things, especially in terms of the need of coming together as youth, as the old generation, in terms of effective leadership when we want to have effective output and sustainability in our environment. We need good leaders because it cascades down to what they do in the out there. So to anyone, our guests who are on the even live on YouTube, thank you so much for joining. And in case I will give you 1 minute to say something. I don't want to leave anyone out of this session. Yeah, if anyone has anything they want to say, you can raise your hand, say something, add on anything. And thank you so much to our speakers. And I'll give Justin a minute to mention on our upcoming event. Yes, welcome, Justin, to say.
Thank you, Rose, once again. Good evening, team. I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Justin Mokua. I'm the sports coordinator at Global Youth Forum. Now, I have good news for you. We have an upcoming tournament, which is happening on 24th and 25th to mark the International World Football Day at the University of Nairobi. You are all welcome. You can check on our social media, that's on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter at Global Youth Forum to get the real news and see how the tournament goes on. We invite you. Welcome. Karibuni sana. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Everyone, you have heard, we have a tournament coming up. Don't miss out. And to just appreciate our speakers, everyone who can access the reaction, you can give a reaction to them, a celebration one, clapping one, to appreciate our speakers. as I hand over to our moderator, Millicent, to continue the session. Thank you so much. Welcome, Millicent.
Okay, thank you so much, Ross. It's been an amazing 1 hour, 10 minutes of this Sunday, and I want just to tell the participants that at Ordinary Voices, we have a session each month at the last Sunday. And if you want to register, I don't know if my team can share the link for, okay, wait. For May, our topic is on eradication of all forms of poverty in Africa by promoting quality industry, innovation, and infrastructure through the creation of peace, justice, and strong institutions. If you can share the link on the chat so that if you want to be a speaker, you can fill in the form and we will consider you there. Thank you so much. And if anyone in my team wants to talk, you can unmute and go on.
Again, can I just say very quickly that for me, I have huge respect for each and every one of our speakers here today. Their knowledge about the topics has been absolutely awesome. They've caused me to think and rethink, and that's always valuable in both my personal life and my interactions with other people. I've really appreciated the discussions, the conversation. And I would just say to everyone on the call, don't forget, you really can make a difference just on your own. And each one of us together, we will make a huge difference. So take that step. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gareth. I think the link is there. You can register if you want to be a